Helldivers, we got a pretty big week next week. I was thinking about delaying this build video, but damn it, I have to get it out there, and it's probably only going to get better with the patch. So we got to do it anyways. This week's going to be a little bit of a busy one. We're going to go ahead and do this build video here, and then later this week, I will make a video on kind of what to expect from the patch next week, and then kind of my wish list on what I hope they address, because they did state that the patch notes were so big, so crammed full of changes that they can't fit like any other like content in it. So I'm dreaming big. I'm dreaming real big. But before we get into the video, if you like Helldivers 2 content, do that like thing and hit the subscribe button. You know, only if you enjoy the content. And without further ado, let's get into the build. Today, we're going to be making Master Chief. Now, when making Master Chief, there are a few things on this list that are mandatory. And then he does have a lot of optional things, because Master Chief can literally probably pick up a toothpick and kill anything in the room. So just know he's a master of arms and anything can technically work, but we're going to try to focus on his iconic weaponry, you know, what's in the marketing. I'm going to try to stick to Combat Evolved as much as possible, because that is my favorite Halo. I will be throwing in some Halo Wars references. Yeah, this lady's back there chewing on like a squeaker toy, so if you hear some of that, that is her. She's having a good time, and we're not going to interrupt her. But so mostly going to stick with Combat Evolved and sprinkle in some of some other things from the Halo franchise. Starting off with the equipment, we'll start with the primary weapon here. What is Chief shown the most with? Well, it's an assault rifle. It's the MA5 assault rifle, I believe, and it's in probably his most iconic weapon in all like marketing and in most of the games except for like 2. Where you actually don't get the assault rifle. Although, except in, I think in the remaster version of Halo 2, they do give you the regular assault rifle. Anyways, not important. So, for our choice of assault rifle, we're either going to go with the regular Liberator, the standard one, the Tenderizer, or the Liberator Penetrator. The Liberator Penetrator I'm putting on this list because it was specifically mentioned as something that is getting a buff. And right now, it's not in a good place, but hopefully, you know, this content is more evergreen, so by the time that patch does come out, this will make more sense, because usually I wouldn't recommend the Penetrator. But all 3 of these assault rifles are all pretty decent. I'm hoping assault rifles in general see a buff, but we'll see on that one. But they all do share that bullpup magazine, you know, the magazine that hangs in behind the handle and the trigger. So that's why I think they're all acceptable. You could say that they are the just regular battle rifle from Halo 2 with the burst fire. They kind of share that similar look as well, but either one of these assault rifles I think fits the bill. Moving on to the secondary, well, we got the Peacemaker and the Verdict, and if you want to go with the more, you know, Halo 2 SMG, you could go with the Redeemer as well, but for me, I'm sticking with the Peacemaker and the Verdict. Trying out the Verdict again, man. I do not like the Verdict as a sidearm. I would go probably with the Peacemaker, but if you like the Verdict, nothing wrong with it. It's not my playstyle for whatever reason. Grenade wise, this is an easy one. We're just gonna go with the regular frag grenade. Now, for me, I definitely would just go with the impact, because the impact is, I just think, more effective. There's not really an impact grenade type in Halo, but I feel like Master Chief would probably just pick the grenade that does the most damage, or it just feels the most effective. So I would go with the impact grenade here. Sorry about that, puppy was going a little crazy. She's losing teeth like no other and just spits them out, blood everywhere. It's disgusting. Anywho, door's open, now she's gone. Okay, back to what I was saying. In my Mandalorian video, I got a lot of comments on the fact that I said we didn't have anything Mandalorian looking like, and I kind of regret saying that a little bit, because we do have some similar things. But anyways, for this video, I'm making sure I talk about my armor set, and it is the Alpha Commander, the green set. This probably looks the most Master Chief. Now, when we're making a build like this, we are focusing more on the RP rather than what I would like normally pick. This armor in general, not bad. It's the medic kit set, so it's actually really good. But even if it wasn't the medic kit set, we'd still be going with this, because I do think this probably looks the most Master Chief-esque. So to recap on what we got here for the equipment, we have our iconic assault rifle with the 3 of our choices that we got there. We have the Magnum sidearm, or the SMG if you prefer that. Just the regular frag grenade with the impact. And then our armor set is very green and armor-like. So we can finally move on to the stratagems. Stratagems wise, this first one here is mandatory. You have to pick it, or else this build doesn't make any sense for Master Chief. You have to pick the Overshield, which is the shield generator backpack. Obviously, Chief has a shield around him, and it makes him very tanky. and it does the same for us in Helldivers too. This is great against the bots and also very good against the bugs with their bile spewers that literally sneak up on you and spit all over you. Now, another iconic weapon, I already mentioned it, I'm going to try to stick to more combat evolved because it's my favorite one. But the rocket launcher, that dual barrel rocket launcher, whatever you want to call it, I don't know if that has a direct term, but that thing is a beast in combat evolved, and I think the best thing we have for it right now is the commando that has 4 rockets. Now, if you want to throw something in there like the Quasar Cannon as a pseudo Spartan laser, be my guest, but I would go with the rocket launcher because I like the rocket launcher a little bit better. Now, for these last 2 picks, we're gonna get a little crazy here. You could go with the shield generator relay or the bubble shield throwdown that was from Halo 3. That's not a bad pick against the bots. Totally worth it. And for our next stratagem pick, we're going to look at the UNSC, and they have a little thing called the Hornets. Now, I had to re-record this because I was calling them the Vultures for so long. The Vulture is a giant, bigger aircraft that flies in the sky that is air support, but that's not what I'm referring to here. I'm talking about the Hornets. They are the helicopter flying air units that you get in Halo Wars, and they shoot rocket volleys, and I think the best comparison we have is obviously the Eagle Airstrike. And luckily, the Eagle Airstrike is an S tier stratagem pick because this thing just does great damage overall, pretty good at chaff clear, does structure damage really well, good at closing bug holes and taking out fabricators, and can take out heavy and massive targets, and you get a lot of charges, and then once those are all spent, it is a pretty low cooldown. So now I can sync this back up with the old recording and get back to the normal list. But we actually have a few more references that we can take from Halo Wars. The Mac cannons. I don't know if you guys ever read the books, but I always thought it was interesting that the UNSC, the humans, would actually fight pretty well on the ground against the Covenant when the war first broke out, but then when they got the space, the Covenant would just absolutely dunk on anything humans, anything the humans had with their frigates. But the Mac cannon was basically their only weapon on their ships that could do anything against the Covenant cruisers, and even that really wasn't the greatest, most effective weapon. So what do we have? Well, we have our orbital cannons. I would go with probably just the orbital precision strike. I'm pulling again a little bit more from Halo Wars, where you do get some specials where you can throw down a Mac cannon shot onto the ground. So we do have an orbital, reference to fall back on. So I think that could work here as another stratagem pick. And then we have to talk about Halo 4, which we could. So in Halo 4, you do get a Mantis, a Walker, and an exosuit. And luckily, we also have an exosuit in Helldivers 2. We have the Patriot, and then we have the Emancipator. I think the Patriot may be getting fixed soon, hopefully, but it's still a decent pick. I think that it more replicates what the Mantis is in Halo 4. So I would probably go with the Patriot if you want to be more, if you want to try to be a more one-to-one comparison. But, if you want to do with the autocannon exosuit, that's cool too. So that's it for our stratagems. Kind of go over them real quick. We got our overshield, we got our rocket launcher, we got our Vulture airstrikes, and then we have the Mac cannon orbital gun that we be calling upon. And then we got some options in there with the shield relay, the Mantis, which would be our exosuit, our Patriot. I think that's where we're gonna stop with the options, because we literally could go on and on. Like in Halo Combat Evolved, there was a flamethrower. Now I know the flamethrower kind of is on the shit list right now, but again, that might be something that is actually better in the future with some balances. So that could possibly be a better choice. But yeah, Chief was using a Halo in the first one, just for PC though. Now that we have kind of our Chief build loadout kind of all set up, how does it perform? Well, there's one glaring issue with this build. The medium armor penetration is severely lacking, so you're going to have a rough time with that. Can you bring this into tier 9 and tier 10? Absolutely. I'd actually like to talk about that real quick, because I feel like tier 10 overall, I think they took the dial on it and they went way back on it, because when tier 10 first came out, it was overwhelming with how many chaff and heavy and massive targets were on the field. But since then, I think they took like a week after, it really kind of just, I don't know, it just feels weaker to me now. It feels like tier 9 now, so I don't really see a difference between the two. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but anyways, I just want to mention that it can go into tier 9 and tier 10. Just know your medium armor penetration is going to be a little bit lacking. Hopefully that Liberator Penetrator gets the much needed buff it needs and will be a more viable option. That way you can cover those medium armor enemies. But other than that, you do have an answer for everything. You got a little bit of a support role if you feel like taking that shield generator relay. I would take that just against the bots. But Eagle Airstrike, very effective. The Commando is a very good option against heavy and massive targets. The cooldown on it is very short. And then you can never go wrong with the Precision Orbital. It's a little bit of a, you know, you got to get a little used to the timing of when the orbital comes down, but very effective weapon, short cooldown on that as well. And then yeah, the shield backpack is going to keep you alive and keep you in the fight. So other than the medium armor penetration enemies, this thing is a tier 9, tier 10 approved. I brought it into both bots and bugs, and it performs just fine. You're going to be like somewhere in the middle of the pack, and remember just to stick with always, you know, stick with your teammates, you know. And yeah, Chief's a team player, you know. He had blue team with him, mostly in the books, sometimes in some of the games like Guardians for a little bit, or I guess for most of that, but that story sucked. So yeah, that's the build overall. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to do an ODST one, but I am crossing my fingers and I'm holding out for a war bond that introduces silencers or something like that, and then I would make an ODST one, because obviously Helldivers 2, we're basically ODST just in general. But yeah, with Chief, I feel like we have enough tools at our disposal right now to make a pseudo Chief, and I thought it came together pretty well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I didn't do a chart with this one because I'm still trying to get my footing if I really like doing that or not. I don't know, but I will see you guys later this week for another video, and until then, peace.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.